Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. And this is from Nightfire. Is that Tor? Macmillan Publishing Group. A Nightfire book, Tom Doherty Associates. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, does anybody really care about that part? Nothing But Blackened Teeth, Cassandra Khaw. Look at that amazing cover. I would frame this and hang it on my wall if I had a poster of it. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous cover. So in this little tiny 125-page book, some friends, I believe there's 5 of them, have gone to this old Japanese mansion for the wedding of 2 of the people. They're old friends, high school friends, and there's folklore about a bride ages ago who was supposed to get married here, and the groom never showed up, and she was buried in the walls. And then every year after that, they would bury alive another woman or girl throughout the years. And so, of course, is this a haunted mansion that they're in? They're hoping it is. And then, shenanigans ensue. All right, so this is the first book that I have read by Cassandra Khaw. Based on the cover and people talking about it on social media. That's where I first came across it. Thought I'd check it out. And right off the bat, I'm going to say that this is an incredibly well-written book. I want to use the term lyrical. I'm not sure if that's maybe poetic. It's very, very beautifully written. And which is odd considering the first line is, "How the fuck are you this rich?" So you don't think, starting off with that, maybe you're not thinking this is going to be a very poetic and lyrical and beautifully written book, but it is. The imagery is fantastic. The characters, on the other hand, well written, not all that likable. Our narrator, possibly the most neutral, maybe that's the best way to put it, character, most likable. Well, some of them aren't bad. Some are kind of assholes. Not saying they have to be likable, just saying, just telling you what's going on in the book. So we start off with our narrator and this sort of golden boy. And they're pretty young. They're early 20s. Golden boy's the rich one who flew everybody to Japan first class. Got them this place, this old, run-down, spooky Japanese mansion. I'm not going to try to pronounce any Japanese. So we're introduced to them, and then the future bride and groom show up, and there's all these sort of interpersonal relationships going on, past things, who might have dated whom, and who might have had unrequited love, and all this, and then this other guy shows up, and some of them are only there because certain people want them there, but not everybody necessarily wants them there. All sorts of character dynamics going on. And with all of that kind of character drama, we also have this, again, wonderfully written descriptions of the mansion and the spookiness that ensues, and the bride-to-be, I believe it is, talks about how ancient Japanese warriors had this tradition of, they would light 100 candles and they would tell ghost stories And after each person told a story, they would blow out a candle. And basically it was to see who was brave enough to tell the last story and blow out the last candle. They're going to do this in this potentially haunted, hopefully haunted mansion. And again, things get wild. Now, the ending. I made a mistake when I was reading this book because I was reading it at work, and I always try to stop either at the end of a chapter or if there's a break within a chapter. I want to stop there. I don't want to stop in the middle of something. So I was at work. I was reading it on my lunch break. Found a little break in a chapter and said, all right, lunch is over. This is the perfect place to stop. And then I got home, and then the book was over in 2 pages. And so technically, there was an epilogue, but the main story was over in 2 pages. And I think the break in my momentum of reading it lessened the impact of those last 2 pages, if you understand what I'm saying. And I feel, I wish I hadn't stopped when I did, or not started reading it at lunch at work, but that's what I do during lunch break. I read. If I'd known, because there were a few pages left, but again, most of what was left was epilogue. And so I think the impact of the ending was lessened for me because I unfortunately stopped and took a break where I did. Does that make sense? So the ending felt very abrupt to me, and I'm not sure if that would have been the case otherwise. And it also felt, and this has nothing to do with when I stopped reading, when I took a break from it, when I had to go back to work because my lunch break was over, stupid day job. The ending did feel a little contrived, for lack of a better term. I don't know that it was earned. Is that the best way to put it? So, all of that being said, I have not yet rated this on Goodreads. I recommend it. Again, the writing is fantastic. I will be reading other things from this author. I wish they all had covers that were this amazing. This might be freaky to some people. This is beautiful to me. Beautiful. I can't give half stars. It would absolutely be 4.5. I don't know if I want to go all the way to 5 but that might be my own fault. I'm bothered by this. I may have to read this again without an interruption to see. And it's very short, very quick. But this is the reason I don't pause horror movies. I made the mistake once. I was watching a horror movie, got called away, didn't get back to it the next day, and everything that had built up in the first half of the movie was gone. It's like I was starting in the middle of the movie, but starting from scratch. Well, I was literally starting in the middle of the movie, but starting from scratch. Any of this makes sense? Am I just rambling? Absolutely 4.5 stars. That's a given. Just based on the beauty of the writing alone. It would probably be 5 if I could be guaranteed, but I can't, that the ending works if you read it properly. So we'll say 4.5. I don't know what I'm going to give it on Goodreads because I can't give it a half. I may bump it up to 5 on Goodreads. I may round up. Just to be safe. I don't want to punish the book for my failings. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm definitely at the rambling point now. That's Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. beautiful imagery, creepy things going on, interesting characters, if not necessarily likable, great character dynamics, great Japanese folklore. Really, really enjoyed it, even though I screwed up my own reading experience. And this cover, again, I love this cover so, so much. There you go. All right, question for this video. Have you ever screwed up your own reading experience? Typically, I don't. I think this was kind of a fluke. I have not sabotaged my own reading, but sometimes I'll just flip to the very back of the book and look at the page count. And then, and sometimes even when I don't do that, you can tell you have an idea of how many pages you have left. And I get thrown off when there's an excerpt from something else in the back of the book or extra material in the back of the book. So I think I've got 20, 30 pages of story left when in fact I have 2 or 3. And it always throws me off. It's kind of, you ever have that feeling when I have 3 Mountain Dew bottles that I keep filled with water. Keep them in the fridge, so I always have cold water. So have you ever had that experience when you think you're drinking one thing and it turns out to be something else? So I've grabbed a bottle from the fridge. I think I've grabbed a bottle that has Mountain Dew in it. I take that first sip and it's water. And it's really a weird experience because your brain is expecting something else. So hopefully you know what I'm talking about. But that's the experience I've had when I think there's 30 pages in a book left and there's only 5 pages in the book left. And all of a sudden it's over and I thought there was going to be so much more. So that's not really ruining the experience for me. That's just the one sort of example I can think of. Because again, this with Nothing But Blackened Teeth was kind of a fluke. But have you ever had some weird experience with reading a book where something just threw you off? I don't know. This is a weird question. Hopefully you'll understand what I'm asking, and maybe you'll have some answers. And if you do, please put them in the comments below. If you have any other comments, questions, or corrections, put those in the comments below as well. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is EricSmith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. That's all I've got for you. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.